What's up, everyone? We're on to the roster review of the Oakland Raiders. These guys had a really good year. I have them ninth in my power rankings going into next year. They just had that unfortunate injury to Derek Carr, but man, they got a lot of youth and a lot of promise heading into next season. So let's take a look at the roster. Derek Carr stays about the same, and the rest of these guys, Connor Cook goes down, but Matt McGloin goes up. I think McGloin is more established than Cook. Just was injured, didn't get the playoff start. I actually think there's a better chance that Oakland might have won that game against Houston if they had McGloin. Onto the running backs. Latavius Murray goes down just a little bit. He's got a lot of power, though. I moved his acceleration and trucking up. He's very, very powerful, but I'm not sure he has a ton else to his game. Not a great receiver out of the backfield and not a ton of shiftiness. I wouldn't be surprised if they looked to move on from Latavius sometime soon. And then these other guys, it's pretty good depth, especially Richard and DeAndre Washington are very good complements to that power of Latavius Murray. And then at receiver, definitely had to move these guys around. Crabtree was actually rated higher than Cooper, which I disagree with. Cooper gets the best coverage, gets double teamed a lot. He has some inconvenient drops, but Cooper definitely the better player, much more explosive, better route runner. And then Crabtree stays about the same, but again, not the number one. Seth Roberts, I'm a big fan of. I think he could end up getting a decent contract, whether it's with Oakland or with someone else. He's a free agent this offseason, but he's a pretty good athlete and has made some very impressive catches. So I'm curious to see what happens to him this offseason. And then some decent depth here. Johnny Holton goes up. He got some playing time this year. Tight ends, they could really use a good playmaker here at tight end. None of these guys really stand out to me. Lee Smith actually listed as the starter. And then the offensive line was great, really emerged as one of the great offensive lines this year. Kaleki Osemele changed his impact blocking, so that goes up to, I believe, 97, 98. He just has impact blocks left and right, so that was a great signing for Oakland to get Osemele on the line. And you notice that run game really clicked as soon as they got him. Rodney Hudson, a stud. Gabe Jackson, Austin Howard. They really have two good guys on the right side. So a good, deep offensive line. Main reason I'm optimistic going into next year is that offensive line. Khalil Mack, Defensive Player of the Year. Don't need to say anything about him. These other DNs here, neither of these guys were active this season. Edwards with injury and Alden Smith being investigated again for domestic violence. If that's the case, you can say goodbye to Alden Smith. And then Mario Edwards, it'll be really interesting to see if he can come back because he had a really good rookie year. And then the D tackles, I could see this being a position they address. Dan Williams had a very bad start to the season, but was finally able to reestablish himself a little bit in the second half. And then Malcolm Smith goes up, but he is a free agent. And then, these linebackers go down a little bit. Perry Riley was a little high, in my opinion. Bruce Irvin goes up from an 82, I believe, to an 86. Just kind of a do-it-all outside linebacker, good pass rusher, good in coverage. And then David Amerson, I've talked about him a lot. Big fan of Amerson, so he goes up, but Sean Smith goes down quite a bit, actually. Sean Smith was originally rated higher than Amerson. But, I mean, Smith, he kind of is what he is. He's a big corner. I almost said physical, but he doesn't play terribly physically. Doesn't play very physical, given the fact that he's 6'3". Not great in press. I mean, he's pretty good at press just because of that size, but you'd like to see more from him. But David Amerson makes a ton of big plays. He's definitely their number one corner. But I would definitely see them looking to add some depth in the secondary. Reggie Nelson's Madden finally kind of dropped his rating down. I think he's one of the more overrated players in the league. He's fine, but he's been like a perennial Pro Bowler, which tends to make people think he's better than he is. He had some big interception numbers in Cincinnati, but sometimes with the safety position, that can just be luck. And then Carl Joseph, a good rookie strong safety, will continue to develop. So that's it for Oakland. Very optimistic outlook for next year. So hope you guys like the video. And next up, we got the Rams, which had some pretty big changes on it. So looking forward to that one. Peace out, guys.